guys and girls, and welcome to the Zemcraft PvP tutorial on the mod Factions. Now, Factions is quite a large mod. Most servers that do have PvP do use it. So, if you come from another server and you've already used it, then you don't need this guide. If, however, you're new to Minecraft PvP, then this will be useful for you. Alright, Factions. Firstly, there are a lot of Factions commands. To show them to you, simply /f_help. Now, there's 10 pages of them. To cycle through them, just do /f_help, /2, and then so on, 3, 4, 5, and you can go through as many pages as you want reading them. Or you can listen to me for about 2 minutes, and hopefully we'll get most of these done. Alright then guys, firstly, starting your first faction. To make your faction, just simply do /f_create. Then you have a choice between 3 to 10 character name without any spaces. So let's call this one first faction. Apparently that's longer than 10 characters, so we'll call this one /f_create/newbies. There we go. After you've made your first faction, it prompts you to change your description, so we'll make that to s_desk. Now this is what people will see as soon as they walk onto your land, so you want it to be something that will possibly put them off, but nothing too over the top, we'll say. Alright, so I'm a noob. There we go. That's going to help us out. Alright, they're all going to be terrified of that, obviously. Okay. So we've sorted out description. Next thing. If you do spell something wrong, or if you do want to change the description at any point, you can just put in /f_desk again, and you can change it to whatever you want. Or if you want to change your faction name, you can just do /f_tag names, and that changes your faction name. So put test in, and now we're in the faction names. Faction shown by this green thing here. Alright then. Your bit of land. Okay. If I do /f_who, it tells you who is in your faction. That's your faction name at the top. And then your land, which you currently own, which for me is 0. Your power, which is for me is 10, as I have max power, and the maximum power that your whole entire faction can have. In this instance is 10, as there's only me. The more people you have in your faction, the bigger your max power, and the more land you can claim without risk. Now, the way factions works is for every land you have, you need to have 1 power to keep it. So if you have 10 power, then you can claim 10 land. However, if you're killed at any point, you'll then lose 2 power. And so you'll have 10 land and only 8 power. That means if someone goes over to your land and finds out you have less power than land, then they can claim it. So they can claim 2 bits of land off you until you have 8 land and 8 power left. Now, power automatically regenerates itself, on the Zemcraft server at least, at 0.5 power per minute. That means you have to wait approximately 4 minutes before your power will go back up to 10. So try not to claim too much land, otherwise you'll find people are going to steal all your stuff. Alrighty then. Claiming land. To claim land is simply /f_claim. Once you claimed it says you've claimed your land from your faction from wilderness, and as long as it is from wilderness, you should have no problems. You can then see this by doing /f_map_on, and it shows you not only your area, which is that bit there, your blue marker, but all the land around you and who owns what land. Excellent. To turn that off is /f_map_disable. Okay, now we own this land, so if we did /f_who, you can now see it. We've got 1 land and 10 power. We can set our faction home to anywhere in land which we currently own. So to do that, /f_set_home. We now, well, this area which I'm standing in right here is now the faction home. So that means everybody that joins the faction, that will be their base. If they do /f_home from anywhere around the world, so I'm down here, they will automatically go back to that location. So this is very good to kind of keep all your faction in one place. Now this is different to your set home, however. Your set home is personalized, so that only affects you. The faction home affects everyone in the faction. Now these are 2 different things, so don't worry about mixing them up too much. That means you have your own faction home and your own set home at the same time. It's pretty awesome. Okay then, once you made your own faction, you're kind of ready with that, you then kind of want to see what the competition is. To do that, you just do /f space list, and it lists all the factions there could be. However, there are 8 factions per page, and there's 25 pages. So once again, just like the help, /f space list space 2, and you can scroll through as many as you want. Each of those is represented just like yours, so the first number there on 4 tacos is 2. That means they've got 2 land, 21 power, and a max power 50. We've also got 5 people on or in their faction, which makes sense. Alright then. Now you've got all these factions. You've got choices what you can do with them. You can either leave them as neutral, which is why they're yellow, or you can do something like /f ally wow, and it will send the moderators of that faction to tell you that they want to be allies with you, and that if they accept, they then won't be able to deal you any damage. It also means you can talk to them in alliance faction chat, which I'll talk about later. Or you can do the opposite. If they've killed one of your members or you really don't like them, you can do /f space enemy space lols, for instance, and it makes them your enemy. Ultimately, that means that just everyone in your faction knows they're not very nice people, and you don't want to be dealing with them. Maybe you can even go and raid their bases. It'll mark them as red whenever they talk as well. Okay then, faction chat. To do that, /f space c. That changes your chat mode. Now there's 3 options. You've got public chat, alliance chat, or faction chat. Public chat talks to everyone on the server. Enemies, allies, neutral. Alliance chat, that talks to your alliance and your faction only. However, you can also go to faction chat only, just in case you want to keep it sneaky from your alliance, and that will only go to people within your faction. It means no one else can see it. So you can plan plots, you can kind of make a little plan together and go and raid people's bases with only you guys knowing where exactly you are. Okay then, inviting someone to your faction. Now, people need to be online for this, and unfortunately, because I'm doing this on a test server, they're not. But to invite someone to your faction, you simply do /f space invite space name. You put their name in there, it will then be sent an invitation. So they'll have to type in /f space join space names, and then they'll be able to join it. Unfortunately, I'm already a name, or a member of names, so I can't do it. Now, you've got 2 levels, or 3 levels of command in a faction. You've got the admin level, which is the owner. To make someone the owner, you just do /f space admin space name. That's only the admin of the faction. That's not the admin of the server, so don't try anything. There's also /f space mod, which then puts the person in position of being able to claim land and kick and invite people to the faction. There's then the position of just usual player. The usual player can just be part of the faction, really. They can use your stuff, they can get into the base, they can F home, but they can't invite anyone, and they can't kick anyone, and they also cannot claim any land. Also, if you get bored of your faction, you need to leave it, and you're the last person in, the way to do that is simply /f space disband. And your faction is then gone, you're free to join anyone else you like. Thank you for listening to the tutorial on factions. If you have any questions, submit them in the comments below. Other than that, have a good day, and see you on the server.